everything down. You will get a copy of it. What we're talking about today is authentic selling, how to have conversations that convert. The emphasis is on authentic, not on selling. And I'm going to show you what that means and how that works. We offer several free events every month. On February 19th, we have Pure Confidence. That's what we call personal fuel. And that is going to be helping you really have more confidence as a founder. And then on February 25th is Gather and Grow. That is typically our largest event. There's usually anywhere from 50 to 100 people at that event. It's all networking. So it's a really cool way to do networking and to meet new people and to also walk away with great ideas. So you're welcome to attend any of our events. There's no catch. We're just here to serve you. If you don't know what Shifco is, we train conscious entrepreneurs. I'll explain what that means. A conscious entrepreneur wants to grow their business, make money, but also do good and make an impact. And that's what we specialize in. We show conscious entrepreneurs how to grow your business and maximize your impact. 88.9% of the members using Shiftco double their revenue, usually in the first year, and 97% stay with us every single month. So we're really good at doing this, and we're really here to serve. It's very genuine. I feel like I have the best job in the world. I have had multiple business exits, which means I built companies and sold them. And one of those was what's called an IPO, an initial public offering on the NASDAQ stock exchange. That was an internet company a long time ago. And so I've been doing the entrepreneurship thing for a long time. In 2009, I sold a very successful business and I started over with a crazy idea. There had to be a way to use my business growth skills to do good in the world rather than just make money. And that is like a purposeful Shark Tank is the best way to describe it. It's called Share on Purpose Inc. We have a speculator fund. We invest in things like the world's first zero waste makeup and skincare line. It's totally recyclable. And that is one of our investments. And then we also have what we call the cultivator, where we create our own businesses as well. We have several of those. And one of those businesses started in 2020, right around the time of COVID, and that is Shifco. So my whole life is dedicated to growing things that matter. And I teach, coach. I spend 70% of my time inside of Shifco helping our members grow their good and grow their business. And then I lead this amazing group of leaders that run our businesses for us. So that's me in a nutshell. And that's why I'm here to talk about this topic called authentic selling. And let's kind of do some interaction here and just first of all start with what's the hardest part of building a business? So most people almost always say selling. I'd love to hear what you have to say. Lisa's going to read out your responses. What's the hardest part that you found about building a business? Is it selling? Is it something else? Drop that in the chat. We're going to see what you say.
Consistent revenue, making connections, starting from zero. Systems, and overflow of leads.
Love it.
Balancing priorities, getting the first clients, getting qualified leads and converting, time management. All good stuff.
All right. So then another question, why does selling in particular feel so hard? Go ahead and drop that in the chat.
Feels pushy, very few people buy, hard to communicate your value.
All very true. I'm going to challenge you though, because the reason why selling seems hard Is it because of the selling part? What it is you need more people that are aware that you exist and more people that are interested in buying from you. So just think about the difference. When most people say, oh, selling is hard. No, what's hard is that there aren't enough people that are interested in buying from you or interested in what you have to say or and that's the challenge is it isn't just selling, it's you need more people that are interested in what you're about. They're interested in what you do. They're listening, they're tuning in. And the that technique is really what we call authentic selling. It's meeting more people first and foremost, and then doing so in such a way that people are really interested in buying from you. Maybe not buying like right now, but man, that's somebody I really want to pay attention to. Someday I really want to buy from them. Or wow, when I'm ready, I really want to buy from them. That's what we're really talking about is building a strategy so that more people are interested and that they want to buy from you. And when you really stop and think about it, if you had that, if you had people showing up to a webinar, there's 26 of us today, you guys are not going to buy from me. Some of you might, but that's not the point. The point is you're interested in this topic. That is motivating to me. The larger the group, the more excited I am. And I'm not going to try to get anyone to buy because that doesn't work. You can't make people buy. All you can do is meet more people and serve them in such a way where they become interested. And at some point, a portion of them will buy, but you can't have a string attached to that ever. So let's talk a little bit about what have you tried in order to get more leads and get more sales. What have you tried? And then did it work? Did it not? Go ahead and drop that in the chat.
Meta ads, workshops, webinars, cold approaching, but that felt inauthentic. Networking events, LinkedIn, offering free things, getting a whole bunch coming through it.
Cool. And then did it work? Did it not? No right, wrong. Never judge yourself. I'm a big fan of it's just awareness. We're just becoming aware. Did it work? Did it not? Did I do it consistently? Did I not?
No, yes, not yet, and sporadic. Everything.
Yeah. Well, what I want to show you is how to change that. Uh, and there's three things we're going to cover. First, where is your buyer and how do you connect with them? And not how do you sell to them. So I cannot emphasize this enough. Most of the time when people connect, they're really trying to sell. That will not work. And it works less today than ever. It's been working less and less for the last decade, but it works less today than ever, in part because of a lot of the AI tools. There's a lot of inauthenticity out there. I'm not saying that AI is inauthentic. I'm saying that sometimes the way people use it, it's inauthentic. So it's really about knowing where your buyer is and knowing how you connect with them. Secondly, is understanding when and why they make a purchase so that you can become better at how you serve them. And third is having conversations that convert to clients. Okay, so that's what we're going to cover today in this free program. So let's start first with where your buyer is. So think for a second about who you're serving. I serve entrepreneurs, obviously. So I find out where you guys are. And I find you on Facebook. I find you on LinkedIn. I find you on Eventbrite. Our members refer you to us. You visit our website. So I know who I'm serving. You should know who you're serving. The one caution that I want to give you is there's some bad advice out there about niching down. If you niche down too soon, it will make it harder for you to be successful. So if you're following that advice, I want to give you a caution. Don't niche down too soon. Okay. So you want to keep your target market as broad as you can. I know that's counter to what some people are out there teaching, but I can tell you, you want to keep your target market as broad until you can't handle the volume. And that's when you want to niche down. You don't want to niche down because somebody told you to niche down. You only niche down when you can't handle the volume that you're getting, which is not the problem. So know who you're serving. So think about for a second who you're serving. Again, I serve entrepreneurs, founders. Specifically, I serve founders who are trying to grow their business and make the world better. So kind of write that down to yourself. Who am I serving? And the emphasis is on serving, not who am I selling to. Second is really where are they hanging out? Where are they? Because they don't come to you, you go to them. Are they listening to certain podcasts that you could be on? Are they in certain networking events? Are they parents inside of a school? If you're doing that type of work, are they reading certain types of books? Where are they? You need to know where they are. And then you want to go to where they are. So a lot of times because of ads, people think, oh, I'll throw up an ad and they'll come to me. That doesn't work, guys. You will waste tons and tons of money. I'm not a fan of advertising until your business is way larger than it is. What you want to do is you want to go where your buyer is. They're not going to come to you. Don't expect that. It's going to be a long time before they come to you. You want to go where they are. And then you also want to be thinking about how often you're going to do that. And the reason why the how often matter is the sales gap that any business is having. So when someone says, "Oh, I need more sales, Terri," it isn't that you need more sales, it's that you need more potential buyers who are aware that you exist. And that this is a little thing that makes a big, big, big difference. And we have a free program on our YouTube page for how do you get more buyers that are aware. I'm not going to cover that today, but there is a free program out there on lead generation. But you need a lot more potential people that are aware that you exist. When we first started ShiftCo in 2020, we started with a handful of investors who invited their friends. Next thing you know, we had 20 members. Then we started connecting with where founders were. The next thing you know, we had 50 members and then 100. But through that process of getting our first 100 members, I think we're closing in on 500 now. Through that process, I've met tens of thousands of potential founders. And I've found ways to put myself in places where I can meet lots of my target market. I do podcasts, I do events, network, I share content, I'm active on social media. So I have a set of strategies that work for me so that more people are aware that my business exists. Okay. That doesn't mean they're going to buy, but you need 3 to 10 times more awareness than you have today. Now, I want to come back to this, where are they? Because one of the biggest mistakes that I see people making is A, they think people will come to them. B, they post on social media thinking that that's a way to find people. Think about it. If you're posting on social media, the people that are seeing it are already aware that you exist. So we need more new people aware that we exist. So posting on social media is not enough. You've got to have other strategies because if you're posting on social media, those people are already aware of you. You've got to know where your target market is. Okay. So that's the first thing. And again, I'll drop in before we're done a free session that we did on awareness building lead generation, if that's your issue. But let's assume for a second it's not, that you're already getting awareness. You're already meeting people that are in your target market. So the next thing is, when and why do buyers make a purchase? So buyers don't buy from you because you want to sell to them. Let me say that again. Buyers don't buy from you because you want to sell to them. Buyers buy because they have a problem and they think you might be able to solve it. Okay. So little thing that makes a big difference. And I call this authentic relationship building. So this process, I don't believe in ClickFunnels and lead magnets. I believe that you connect and you build relationships. So what does that look like? So rather than thinking of it like a funnel or a lead magnet, you go through this process of building relationships. So the first part is friends. Right now, we're friends. You heard about Shifco, somebody told you, you saw a link on LinkedIn or Facebook or Eventbrite, and you're like, wow, that sounds really cool. I want to check that out. And you became friends with us. And now you attended the event. Now you're a follower, you're paying attention. That doesn't mean that you want to buy. It doesn't mean you're able to buy. It doesn't mean that you're ready to buy. It just means you're a friend who's now following what we're doing. You'll get emails from us. None of the emails will ask you to buy. They'll just basically show you the different ways that we can serve you. This idea of friends who follow, this is the key to selling. It is not selling, it is finding more friends who follow, who are paying attention. They're aware and interested. Right now, you're aware of Shifco, and because of the topic, you're interested in Shifco. That does not mean you are ready to buy. So I'm not going to ask you to buy. It just means that you're aware and interested. Basically, that's marketing. And awareness is really the key to it. You need a lot more people that are aware than you have today. And then the second part is really where the selling comes in, where they want to buy from you. That's when the purchase is actually made. And the problem that most of us have is we start doing this when the relationship is like this. So we're way back here and it's like, oh, buy today, for this special low, low price, blah, blah, blah. Or today, only today, I'm offering this special. That's all BS. It doesn't work. It's kind of like, if you think of dating and we go on our first date and I'm like, hey, would you like to get married? It's kind of like that. It just doesn't work. And you have to treat selling like connecting and building relationships. From a time standpoint, here's the tricky thing. The better you are at generating friends who follow, the more leads you're going to have. So what I quickly learned as a founder is I get great at the awareness and interest. And then what happens is every other day or so, every couple of days, somebody is joining Shifco, not because I asked them to buy, but because they were ready to buy over here. And so I have thousands and thousands of people that are aware and interested. And every event that we have has anywhere from 20 to 100 people in it. That doesn't mean that those people will buy. It just means they're aware and interested. When somebody is ready and they're like, wow, I could really learn a lot. I think I want to do that. That's when they actually purchase. And I have zero control, nor do you. We have zero control over when someone buys. So what you want to get good at is you want to get good at generating friends who follow and stay connected to those people, which I'm going to show you how to do. And then when people are ready, they'll buy from you. Okay, so that's what we're talking about today. Let me talk about why someone buys. Okay, so why does somebody make a purchase? So think about who you're selling to, what you're selling them. They do not buy because you're ready to sell to them. That's not why they buy. They buy for a different reason. And I want you to think about your target market. I'm going to just give you about 30 to 45 seconds. Why would my target market buy from me? Why would they make that purchase? What's going on for them? Jot that answer down for yourself. And I'm going to give you what I believe the answer is, but I want you to really jot it down. Think about your target market. Why does a founder decide to join Shifco? It's not because I asked them to buy, it's because they're ready. Something in them is ready. Okay. I call it RTB, ready to buy. So buyers make a purchase when they are really ready to solve a problem or receive value. So when somebody attends a webinar like this, they want to learn, but they're not really ready to double down and solve that problem. And I'm totally okay with that. If you've attended a couple of webinars, you can attend as many free as you want. I don't care. I'm not here to twist your arm. But when you're really ready to solve that problem and go deep on whatever that is, that's typically when somebody joins. They're like, you know what, Terri, I just lost another client. I need a better system for selling, or I need to understand pricing, or whatever it is. So that making a purchase when they are ready, not when you want to sell to them, is the key. And this is both the good news and the bad news. I mean, if you think about it, that's a really legitimate, authentic reason for somebody to buy from you is they are ready to solve the problem or receive value. That's not, though, when you need them to buy. Too often, you need them to buy to hit a number or pay your bills or whatever that is. And that's the rub, is that people don't buy when you want them to buy. They buy when they're really, really ready to solve the problem. Okay. So we're going to dig into this and I'm going to show you how this works. So these four phases of relationship building, the first two phases are the most important. And we're going to break these down so that you can see what your buyer is going through as they're moving through these relationships and see if this makes sense to you. So, friend, follower, fan, fanatic, see how that carries over. Friend, follower, fan, fanatic. Okay, so here we are. Friend, follower, fan, fanatic. Same pieces here at the top. These are the stages of relationship a buyer goes through. Right now, in the case of Shifco, you're aware when you found out about us, you attended this event, you're now interested, but you're not necessarily ready to buy, and I'm not going to force you because here's why. You are going through something. And what that looks like, and it's the same thing for your clients, is what you are focused on. So this is what you're focused on, the higher up here, what you care about is here. This is the time of us getting to know each other. In the very beginning, when somebody finds out about Shifco, they are not interested in buying. They don't want to know my background. They don't care, well, even what our price is. They are simply going, oh, I'm struggling with this problem. Oh, I have this problem. Oh, there's a webinar. Oh, wow, that might help me. But you're not thinking about what I do. You're not thinking about how cool Shifco is. You're feeling the pain of your problem. And when you attend an event like this, you're not thinking about Shifco. You're hoping, for goodness sakes, that I don't twist your arms and ask you to buy. What you're thinking about is, how am I going to solve this problem? How am I going to learn how to do this? And that is when somebody is in the friend follower, they're aware and interested. And so then here's the really cool part. When you're serving them and talking to them, as I'm doing right now, and you could do it the way I do it which is webinars and podcasts and things like that, or you can do it through conversations. It doesn't matter. But it's really in the solving, showing them, not telling them why you're great, but showing them, hey, let's pull up your LinkedIn page and let's take a look at the ways that, I would help you improve your page. It's literally showing them something where they actually begin to see these are the three things your website needs to have to convert. Here are two strategies to manage your money more effectively. Again, whatever your services are. With Izzy, this is the makeup line. You can do this with products as well. We show people, do you know how much waste you're putting into society every time you use a piece of makeup or skincare? And we actually help them calculate their own waste footprint. And then when they see that, I had no idea I was polluting the earth. Every time I put on makeup or use skincare, I never thought about that. Wow, that's big. Now all of a sudden they're going, huh, there's a solution to my problem. So I'm going to show you how I'm doing this with you right now authentically is I'm showing you how to solve your problem. I'm not asking you to buy. I'm not telling you about our program. I'm not giving you some special buy today for the low, low price of. What I'm doing is I'm showing you authentically how to solve your problem. What you would be doing, I'm going to talk through some examples. Let's say you're networking and you meet somebody and they're in your target market and they're like, well, Terri, what do you do? Well, I do this. Really? Tell me more about that. So it's asking questions, just like I did at the beginning of the webinar. And it was asking questions and getting you to think about what your problem is. It's the same thing. I just did it on a webinar because we had 26 people here. You could do it one-on-one. Just start asking questions. Well, where are you struggling with your LinkedIn page? Where are you struggling with financial management? Where are you struggling with saving money on electricity? Do you have inflammation and are you thinking about your water as a source of inflammation? So it's not telling them why you're great, it's asking them about their problem. And when you ask people about their problem, when you're connecting with them, they begin to see you as a solution. The best example for this, if you've ever gone to the doctor, let's say you had chest pain and you go to the doctor and you say, Doctor, I have chest pain. And the doctor says, Oh, great, I've got a solution here. Take this prescription and come back in 2 months. That's not doesn't feel very good. But if the doctor says, "Well, Terry, is your chest pain at night or in the morning?" Okay, it's both. All right. Is it before you eat or after you eat? Oh, it's after you eat. Is it when you lie down or when you're standing up? It's when I lie down. Oh, it sounds like you really have acid reflux, not really chest pains. Let's run a couple of tests and see what that is. That I believe that second doctor because the doctor asked me questions and got to know what I'm struggling with. That's what you want to learn how to do. And I'm going to give you a way to do that in a minute. You really, really want to talk to them in such a way where you're asking and exploring what their problem is. Okay. So, how do you know if someone is interested? How do you know they're interested is they want to have you ask questions, not they don't want you to sell to them. They want to have you ask questions. And that does that mean they're ready to purchase? No, 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 no. It does not. It just means that they see you as a potential solution to their problem. If you violate this phase of the relationship and you start selling to them, or let me build a proposal for you before they're really ready, then you basically have become inauthentic and it turns people off. It makes them not trust you. So how do you do this? Well, the first thing you have to understand is all buyers in every category are always looking for solutions to their problems. Always. Always, always, always. Secondly, they don't always know what their problem is. So when we started off and I was asking you guys what are the hardest part about building a business, some of you said it was consistency. Some of you said it was selling, and some of you recognized, you know what? I don't have enough people that are interested, right? So, of the group, what I would say is the vast majority of the people that come to this particular program think their problem is selling, but the real thing is you don't have enough leads. There aren't enough people that are aware and interested. So I educated you on that. I educated you on the fact that your real problem isn't selling. Your real problem is you need more people that are aware and interested. Okay. So that's an example. You could do that. You can help them really define their problem, just like I did at the beginning of this particular program. Again, that doesn't mean they're ready. And quite often, it doesn't mean that they're ready. We've had people that have been in our database for years, and then all of a sudden they'll join. And when we asked them, why did you join now? It was because there was some kind of trigger event. They just were ready. They stopped beating their heads against the wall and they're like, this is working for hundreds of other people. I think I'm going to try. It also means they're not necessarily looking for your company. So that's why I'm a connector. And what it means to be a connector is if you need support, I'm going to support you. Anybody that has worked with me knows I'm going to support you. But I may not be the right resource. And I might say, what you really need is this. I'm going to make a connection and I'm going to refer you to somebody else. So you've got to remember these rules about the buyer's reasons for buying. These are rules, guys. Like you really need to take these to heart. People are always looking for solutions to their problems. Stop talking about what you do and start talking about the problems that you solve. Two, they don't always know their problem. They're just searching aimlessly. Help them get clear on what their problem is, just like we did at the top of this. Three is remember that doesn't mean they're ready, so don't violate that by selling to them. And then four is sometimes they're not really looking for your company, and sometimes you're not really the right resource, but you can connect them to the right resource. Okay, the next thing I want to cover is connection and interest are key. So, what that means is you want to learn how to, I call it ditch the pitch. You don't want to pitch people. What you want to do is you want to talk to them about the problems you solve and the value that you provide. So here's how you do that. And this is a formula that I use and I teach every founder. I always start with something like, I love what I do. I love what I do. I've got the best job in the world. And I have a little note to remind me to say that very thing when I meet somebody. I was just talking to a lead about an hour ago, and he says, "Tell me again what you do." And I'm like, "Oh, I have the best job in the world," or "I love what I do." Pause. Because that connects them right away. They're like, "Wow, this is for real." Like, "Oh, she loves what she does." And I do. And then I have one short sentence. I show founders how to grow their business and maximize their impact. Pause. Nothing about what my programs are, nothing about, what the price is, nothing about buy today. I just make it nice and simple. I love what I do. I show founders how to grow their business and maximize their impact. Now, there's a couple of pieces in here. See how short that is? It's one sentence. It takes me 10 seconds to deliver it. What you want to do is you really want to talk about what you do that solves their problem, not what you do, not what you do. Too often when people introduce themselves, they say what they do. It's really about what do you do that solves their problem? It's got to be about their problem. It's not what you do. So examples of that is, I show people how to manage their money so that they can invest it more wisely. I show people how to improve their LinkedIn profile so they can attract more of their perfect client. That is very different than, oh, I do, these three things and help you with blah, blah, blah. It's really, I cannot emphasize this enough. It is a small thing that makes a big difference. This right here, what you do that specifically solves their problem. And then the next piece, which is the hidden secret in it, is this is why it matters. This is why it matters. The second part of this sentence, and it really is one sentence. After you do this, I love what I do. I have the best job. This is why it matters. You see, I can show anybody how to grow their business. I've been doing it for 30 years. I can show anybody how to grow their business, but specifically, I show people how to grow their business so they make a bigger difference in the world. That's why it matters. That's why I started this portfolio of companies and became a purposeful Shark Tank leader. And that's why I spend 70% of my time showing founders how to grow their businesses, not just so they can make more money, but so they can make a bigger impact. And when people hear that and they hear my truth around that, they sense that, wow, this is really different. So that's an example of how that works. What we're going to do in a minute is we're going to actually practice this in a minute. And I'm going to turn off the recording and we're going to practice with some of you and I'm going to show you how to do it. And so let me pause the recording because I don't want to have you guys on it. So that you can see what a big difference that makes when you really use words. Like sometimes we use too many words, sometimes we're talking around it. We got to throw darts. We got to go right in it. And the way that you say it in the words really do matter. Like when I say, I show founders how to grow their business, I do an emphasis and maximize their impact. Like that's a really cool thing is when I work with somebody, not only are they going to make more money, but they're going to make a bigger difference in the world and they feel that. Okay. So that's what we're really looking for. Okay. The last piece is what I call conversations that convert. So now in this scenario, what we're really looking at is you've connected with somebody, they're interested, all that stuff. Now we got to look at when they make a purchase. And this is like ding, ding, ding. So we're back to the friend, follower, fan, fanatic right here in the beginning. That's that introduction that we just did. That was this point in time here when you're introducing yourself. So now they're kind of leaning in like, wow, I think I really want to stay following you, or I'm not ready to buy yet. And then all of a sudden, people start wondering about your price, and they either look on your website or they start asking about price. So that's the green line. That is an indication not that they are ready to buy. It is an indication of risk. It's an indication of risk. So the closer somebody gets to making a purchase, the more risk they feel. And so price matters because of risk. And I see this all the time. where people will, well, Terry, I just paid somebody $1,000 a month for a coaching program and yours is only 235 a month. It can't be that good. What they're telling me is it isn't about price, it is about risk. And the closer somebody gets to wanting to buy from you, the higher the risk. And their risk is, what if it doesn't work? What if it worked for those other people, but it doesn't work for me? That is what your real competition is fear and risk. It is not price. A special is not going to do it. You've got to overcome their risk. And what I have learned about that is the more somebody wants to buy something, the greater the risk. And that just takes time. They like I said, someone will attend an event and then they'll go away and then 6 months later they'll come back and then, and then they'll pop back in again. And then all of a sudden they're like, I'm ready now. The readiness isn't because I'm doing anything different. I've been doing the same thing as Brandon said. He joined 5 years ago. He was, I think, I don't know, member 40 or something. Brandon, I'm doing the same thing I've always done, right? But at some point, they say, you know what? I'm really ready. I'm really ready to try. And so what happens is the risk changes. And when you think about the last purchase that you made, this is one of my favorites. This is a cup that I bought, and I coveted this cup. It's a hydro flask. I coveted this cup for a long, long time. It's not that expensive, but I waited and I waited and I waited and I bought it, on Amazon days or something like that. What caused me to make the decision wasn't that I wanted to buy it, I wanted to buy it. I was ready to do that. And this readiness, there's a way to have a conversation with people that will help the readiness. It'll ease the readiness. And I call it the PSV conversational model. And when I get the pieces up here, you should take a picture of it because I have this picture sitting right here and I keep it next to my desk. And anytime I'm having a conversation, I use this same model. So it starts first with, hey, what made you reach out? We met at this networking event. What made you reach out? I don't say anything about what I do. I jump right into reminding them what their problem. Where are you stuck in your business? What was it about Shiftco that really interested you? And I listen and I restate and I listen and I restate and I'm treating it as a conversation. My goal is to serve you and it's very authentic. And then, okay, well, what have you already tried? Well, I did this program, I did that program. Well, why didn't those work for you? You see, what's happening when I do these conversations this way is the risk is actually coming down. And again, pick any of the businesses that you guys have. By having the conversation this way, what you're doing is you're lowering risk. And I'm like, oh, well, you joined this program and it didn't work. And it sounds like, you're afraid this isn't going to work. And, is that true? And I just lean right into whatever the risk is. Like, don't be afraid to lean into the risk. You've paid for things and it didn't work. They overpromised and underdelivered. Okay, great. And then rather than telling them what I do, I simply tell them a story of somebody I helped. This reminds me of this one member that we had, Robert, and Robert was struggling with this. And then it's situation, action, result. Here was Robert's situation. Here's what we did with Robert, and here's the result that we had. And this conversation that converts, and by the way, this free program that I'm doing now, we have a whole pathway where we teach and practice this. I'm just kind of giving you the highlights of it, but this is it. Like I'm showing you the crown jewels. It's just that when you're a member of Shiftco, we go in it, we go over it, we practice it. You have a coach who's an expert in this working with you. But this is how it works. Like this is the crown jewels. I'm giving you the crown jewels. Take it away, do it, and you'll find that it works. But it's the way that you're having the conversation that lowers risk. The objective when you're selling is not to sell and tell why you're great. The objective is to lower their risk. All of us have bought things that didn't work out the way that we want. All of us have felt taken advantage of. All of us have had that used car salesman. But when somebody talks to you like this, well, Terry, what made you reach out to me? I know you attended that webinar. What was it? Well, where are you stuck? What's going on? Tell me more about that. Genuine, genuine, genuine. Okay. Well, what have you already tried? What is the type of solution that you think will work for you? And restate, restate. And then rather than jumping in to what you do and why they should buy, you just simply tell them a story of somebody that you helped. And that's it. And then what happens is they become ready to buy and you don't have to sell. Okay. So, three ways that we can support you, and then I'll stop and take questions. If you are considering joining Shiftco, email me. My email address is there. Lisa will jot it in, and I'll send you to what we call Inside Shiftco. It's like a sample, so that you can really see how we operate. No pressure. If you want a free coaching session, Lisa will drop my calendar in. I'm not available for like the next week and a half, but you can get on my coaching, and I'll give you a free coaching class and show you live and in person, what it's like, no pressure. And then you can continue to attend as many events as you want. There's no pressure. It's not one of those you can only attend one or two. Attend as many as you want and connect with other really cool people. And if it feels right someday, we would love to have you in our community. It's an amazing group of people, but it has to be right for you. By the way, two upcoming events, Pure Confidence, where we're really going to work on your mindset and really understanding what confidence is. And then Gather and Grow is the largest event that we have. We do it every month. That one is on February 25th. You will meet lots and lots of people and you'll walk away with great ideas. So I'm going to go ahead and pause the recording.